Ready to ship anywhere now. Like our extra long neck heating pads. They provide soothing relief to painful sore necks and backs. You can heat them in a microwave oven, and they come in a variety of colors and patterns. And for stress relief, get our lavender scented hands-free neck wraps. Or maybe you need one of our smaller lower back wraps. Great for seniors. Again, there's no shipping delays from Sunny Bay. Find our new products on Amazon, Walmart, Etsy, and sunny-bay.com. Just search for Sunny Bay neck wraps. All our products are great for men or women, are reusable and easy to clean. Remember, just search for Sunny Bay neck wraps. Order now because stock is high and shipping is fast. From Sunny Bay.
The source for the latest.
On the first and third Wednesday mornings each month at 9:05 a.m., Robert Colin with On Top of the World will be our guest as we learn all about the exciting lifestyle and new home choices available at Ocala's premier adult active community, On Top of the World. From time to time, Robert will bring guests, and you're sure to enjoy our little chats. After all, you deserve the world, and we bring it to you.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club-style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros. Trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
Two Men in a Truck.
Ugh, what wrong?
Ugh, need wood for fire.
I go get. I got wood for fire.
What takes so long?
Had to use restroom. Someone not refill toilet paper.
My bad. You wash hands?
Of course. What caveman you take me for?
You know, Dan, people who save money by switching to Mike Scott Plumbing sure are happy.
Well, Brittany, how happy are they?
Happier than a caveman with indoor plumbing.
Yep. Get happy. Get Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it. 237-2888.
Howdy, folks. RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some of the best char-grilled chicken breasts on earth, as well as their chicken breast salad. And the burgers are exceptional, cooked on a real grill for the best flavor and less fat. And for dessert, blizzards are unequaled. Personally, banana split is my all-time favorite. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Wednesday, hump day, I'm coming to you from the WOCA studios located just off the runway at the Ocala International Airport in the Brick City, beautiful Ocala, Florida, albeit a foggy, soupy Ocala, Florida, but that should the sun should burn that off here within the next hour. So take a few extra moments to get to where you're going until the sun eats up the fog and lets us have a clear day. 87 degrees is the high we're looking for today. Almost summertime, but not quite. But I'm enjoying it. Galen Unall from Life South joins us. He does every day, brought to you by the good folks at Penn Flooring, JustShip.net, and Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. Galen, I know you watched the Super Bowl, and you watched the second half where the Los Angeles Rams defense really stepped up and started playing some tough-nosed defense. And Aaron Donald sat down with Peter King of NBC Sports, and he says he can tell you the exact moment it turned around. Remember about, 55, 60 seconds, barely a minute into the second half, the scuffle on the sideline where Aaron Donald shoved Joe Burrows out of bounds from inbounds, and some of the Cincinnati players took a little offense with it, and there was almost an all-out brawl that the referees were trying to get in control of. They finally got it under control and everything. Aaron Donald says in that melee that Joe Burrow come up to him and says, Aaron, that was a good hit. I don't know why my team is so upset with you. Let's get back to playing football. And trying to get him to walk away. Let's get back to playing football. And Aaron Donald said in that moment he thought, the only guy that I respect over here is the quarterback. I'm fixing to abuse these guys. And he used that as motivation to turn on the afterburners and have a second half that was really, really a good second half. It just goes to show you, you never know what that little bit of motivation, where that little bit of motivation may come from.
Yeah, and again, we're talking about elite level athletes, and Aaron Donald's been the best at it, at his craft for a long time. And you don't need to give those guys a little more reason to empty the tank, right? And again, you look at all the greats who have done it. Like Michael would find the least little, Michael Jordan find
the least little thing
that he found offensive. Some dude beat him in checkers in 1992. And now he's going to dunk on him 7 times in the All-Star game, right? I mean, that's what it takes, and I think that's what makes some players, heroically great. And then there are other people like LeBron James who don't have that extra level, and that's why they're not the greatest in their millennial athletes.
Yeah, I remember one time Michael Jordan said he dropped 52 on, I think it was the Phoenix Suns. And he did it because the point guard for Phoenix that night, who I can't even remember the kid's name, he was just a flash in the pan in the NBA. While at Northwestern, which is in Chicago, Michael had come to a practice or pickup game or whatever at Northwestern, and the kid dunked on Michael while he was in college 3 years before. And then Michael got to Phoenix and walked up to the kid and goes, it ain't going to be like at Northwestern, and dumped 52 on the kid that night.
Well, and again, that's the kind of thing that would make Michael, go absolutely nuts.
The kid in the pickup game, Michael felt like the kid embarrassed him in a pickup game 3 years before, walks up to the kid before the tip and goes, this ain't going to be like at Northwestern. The kid said he didn't even remember what Michael was talking about. He had to get Michael to tell him what he was talking about after the end of the game. He didn't even remember what Michael was talking about, but Michael did. Michael goes, ain't going to be like at Northwestern.
Yeah, I remember that game was in '93 because that was the Charles Barkley team, and KJ was the point guard. And
yeah, whoever the two guard was.
Yeah.
But he told the kid, ain't going to be like Northwestern.
Yeah, again, those are the kinds of things that
Kobe had that too.
Up.
Kobe had that ability.
Kobe was just Kobe. I think Kobe's one of the most overrated basketball players of all time because if you look, what he was is he got production out of volume, right? So, the guy would take 25 shots a game and make 10 to 12 of them, right? That was his game. And then he'd get 7 or 8 free throws, and that's how he got his 25 to 30 points. If he was really hot, he'd score 50.
He did score 82. He did score 81 in a game.
But he's a volume shooter.
Mike was a volume shooter for most of his career.
And
I'm a devout Michael Jordan fan. But Michael Jordan, Kobe has a lot more similarities to Michael than he does to LeBron.
There's no doubt about that. And I do think that Kobe had that willingness to fail that LeBron does, right? Jordan was like, I'm going to take this shot, and if I miss it, I'm going to remember it for the rest of my life. And it's going to drive
and drive him,
right?
drive him to heights that nobody understood.
You know, they say there are two types of people: people who are driven by winning, and people who are driven by not losing. Jordan is the epitome of being driven by not losing. Right? Losing to him hurts a whole lot more than winning does.
Oh, without a
Feels
doubt.
good. By the way, I am the same way. I can't. Yeah,
I'll tell you.
You know, when you're like, all right. So
I'll tell you a great story. Hawthorne, Florida. Okay, Hawthorne, Florida. You got a picture of Hawthorne, Florida in your mind right now?
Not very difficult.
Hawthorne, Florida. The hugely popular men's recreation softball league. Hawthorne, Florida. You can tell how big this softball league must be because it's in Hawthorne, Florida. All 6 teams, where 2 teams shared players, and it was okay because that way you could put 6 teams out there. You get where I'm at with this, right?
Of course.
I am playing in this league. I was asked to play in this softball league. Now, I played softball at the highest levels. I played softball in softball in the majors in A, where you know games were 56 to 54, and everybody's hitting home runs. I've played big time softball, but I'm playing in this rec league. It's the last time I've ever played softball in my life. By the way, this story right here, last time I've ever played softball. I'm 38 years old. I'm playing on this team that is, bad. Not good, but they're my buddies, and they asked me to come play. I said, okay, I'll play. I'm in the dugout. There's a guy laughing and joking in the dugout, and I go, sit down. What are you laughing and joking about? We're losing 28-3. He goes, what's the problem, dude? We're just here to have fun. Relax. I jack him up against the fence in the dugout, forearm in his throat where he's gurgling and can't breathe. Everybody's like, let him go, let him go, let him go. And I go, last time I checked, getting your ass handed to you 28-3 isn't any fun. That's the last time people are like, maybe you take this a little too much. You might, but that's the mentality I have. And so that's why competitive sports is no longer for me. But that's the mentality you have. That's the kind of mentality Michael Jordan has. It is much harder to lose.
No, I wouldn't do that at a
No, of course you don't have the violent streak I have. You don't have the violent streak I have.
I've played co-ed softball many times.
That's not my point. The point is you would not find losing. My point is you would not find losing 28-3 to be a time to be jovial and have a fun time.
Well, no, absolutely not.
That's my point. You're not violently inclined like I am. I get that. But 28-3 would not be a time for you to be jovial or be okay with people having a good time partying in the dugout.
You are correct on that. That would bother me. Again, unless there was something behind it. I don't know what that could be. That's a difference. I don't know. There's a time and a place for everything.
Right, but losing 28-3 is not a time to have a party in the dugout.
No, I am going to agree with that 100%.
That's what I'm saying. And if the Bulls were getting blown out by 25, nobody on that Bulls sideline would be having a party or a smile on their face if Michael Jordan was sitting on that bench.
You know, it's like after you're in a loft and you're sitting in the bus on the long bus ride home, and there's somebody who starts wanting to play loud music or something or singing, you're like, no. That's how you get hurt right there by your head coach.
It's like Billy Bean, and remember Moneyball? They were partying in there and all.
Oh,
he comes in with the baseball bat and just crushes the boom box. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Agreed. I could completely respect that, and that's why he got traded.
Yeah,
and now
was no longer in there.
Jason Giambi's dead. Isn't that hard to believe?
I know, but that's what got Giambi traded.
Yeah, rightfully slow.
Dancing and partying in the locker room after a bad loss.
After he went 0 for 4 in the whole. Yeah, I mean, again, I respect that. Yeah.
Something that a guy like LeBron James would have no understanding of what we're talking about.
Well, I think he would try. He would have some kind of answer. I just don't think. And by the way, I feel that way because he was so unwilling like right now, his team is falling apart. And all he cares about is arguing with the ownership because the ownership didn't want to forsake the next 5 years to go get one guy, right, who LeBron thought they needed. And now LeBron will be bitter because this is what he did in Cleveland, and then he'll leave. And LeBron, if he doesn't have all of his toys, you know, he's a kid in the sandbox where, like, I need all my toys.
Yeah, but his toys usually aren't that good.
Well, that's a different factor, right? But he'll only allow you to play with his toys if you play with them the way he wants you to play with them. He's a millennial.
He's that little rich kid.
That's
He's
a
that little rich
child.
kid that's got everything, but you can only play with it the way he wants you to play with it, or you don't get invited back to the house.
And if I hear one more person when I rip LeBron for this, oh, you don't know what he's gone through. That dude's been entitled since he was in 5th grade.
No, you don't know what people like. You don't know what people like Allen Iverson, who got shot at in high school, what they've gone through. We know what LeBron's gone through. LeBron went to prep schools, and he's been coddled and making sure that nobody's getting around him that could be a bad influence since he was about 10 years old.
Yeah. So again, I respect him as an athlete, but please don't come at me saying he's. Right now, he's maybe number 3 or 4 on my list.
You don't know what people like Dennis Rodman went through, that had to leave, that was kicked out of his home and had to be taken in by people.
Yeah, again, I mean, we could list these stories for days. But again, I'm just over LeBron, and if they don't make the playoffs this year, I can't wait for the apologists to explain. LeBron James is the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA because wherever he goes, everybody loves that team. Nobody gave a heck about the Cavs before he was there or after he was there.
Wait. Mark Price was on the Cavs, buddy.
Yeah, well, you know, what's his name? Doherty.
Brad Doherty.
Yeah, he's a NASCAR guy now.
You could say he's more successful as a NASCAR guy than he was an NBA guy.
He made it to the finals.
Yeah.
And he won a national championship for our Carolina Tar Heels.
I'm well aware of that, sir. And
Well,
by the way, Mark
he hasn't
Price.
done either one of those things.
By the way,
He
Mark
hasn't done either one of those things as a car owner.
Mark Price from Enid, Oklahoma.
Sure. Yeah.
Only reason I know that, he went to Georgia Tech, and he was all the world in Georgia when I was a teenager. So you know.
That Georgia Tech team was incredible.
That Bobby Crimmins Georgia Tech team was really, really good.
All they did was shoot 3. They were the first team that just lighted up from 3.
Just light it up.
Yeah, it was a fun team.
That was a really good Georgia Tech team, and it started with Mark Price, but it went and morphed into when Kenny Anderson was there, and Brian Oliver was there, and Dennis Scott was there. I mean, when Dennis Scott, Brian Oliver, and Kenny were there, they could just shoot the eyes out of it then. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at that team, and they didn't have off nights because somebody was hit.
I've known Brian.
Yeah.
I've known Brian since we were like 15 years old. Brian Oliver, probably one of the nicest human beings you'd ever meet. And Dennis Scott, I knew while he was at Georgia Tech and everything, and never would I have thought he'd had the NBA career he ended up having.
Sure.
Because he just didn't. He wasn't that guy. He was the jokester in the locker room. He wanted to have a good time. He liked skirt chasing and everything. He just didn't. You didn't ever think he had the dedication to really be a great NBA player. Boy, did we miss the boat on that one. Because he was really good in the NBA.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's articles out that LeBron James is going to leave the Lakers. Like,
Okay.
where does he go if you leave L.A.? Does he go to the Clippers? I mean, who does? I'm just constantly amazed at his behavior and what he does.
I think it's safe to say.
How he goes about his business.
I think it's safe to say, and people argue with me about this. I don't think he's the best player in the NBA. I think he's a top 5, but I don't think he's the best player in the NBA.
I think we could go through, and I don't think he's a top 5.
He may not be this late in his career. He may not be this late in his career anymore. That's a very good point. But he's definitely not the best player in the NBA.
I mean, he's not better than Giannis.
No.
I would take Steph Curry. I would take Jokic, Lillard, James Harden is better.
The guy from Oklahoma
from
that's in Atlanta. The guy that's in Oklahoma from Oklahoma that's in Atlanta.
I think Kevin Durant.
Yeah, who's the shooting guard in Atlanta that's played at the University of Oklahoma?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh, that guy's lighting it up.
Played at the University of Oklahoma.
Yeah. Hold on, it'll come to me.
Yeah.
His name. Trae Young.
Trae Young. Yeah. Trae Young's better than LeBron James.
Absolutely. Sure.
So, you know.
The kid out of Miami, I would probably take. He's just flashier.
And all this conversation started because we recognized that the small things can make a superstar motivated. And LeBron James ain't one of those superstars because the small things don't motivate him. Aaron Donald got motivated to have the second half of his life and win a Super Bowl because Joe Burrow said, "Good hit, Aaron. I don't know why everybody's upset. I was in bounds when you hit me." And Aaron Donald goes, "Your quarterback's the only guy with guts on this whole team. I'm fixing to destroy you." And destroyed the offensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals the rest of the game. Because of a compliment given to him. Not because somebody said something angry to him or something. Because a compliment, and he goes, "That came from your quarterback. He's the only guy with guts on this team. And if you ain't got no guts, you can't block me."
You just like it because it's a defensive attack.
Well, 100%. But I own why I like it. But it's still, just that little bit of motivation is all it takes for a superstar to get to that next level. Like you said, Michael remembered getting dunked on in a pickup game at Northwestern.
Sure.
From 3-4 years earlier, and told the kid when they shook hands at the circle at the beginning of the game, goes, "It ain't gonna be like Northwestern," and dropped 52 on the kid that night.
Sure.
Just that little bit of motivation. Take for instance, you battled through phone issues and everything today, all because of that little motivation of me saying yesterday, "Because I'm the host, I get to talk, you don't." See, that little bit of motivation. That little bit of motivation.
I don't think it was quite that. But okay. Okay.
That little bit of motivation is all it takes.
Maybe I just wanted to stick it to Verizon.
Well, stick it to the man. So we got about 5 minutes left, and I got to talk about it. I know that you've been following it, and now the troops have moved across the border into rebel-controlled land in the Ukraine. Oil now is spiking. There's a sell-off on Wall Street that's taking place. Only 3% of our oil actually comes from Russia. But the world market is saying oil is going up because of this crisis and everything. Is this something the American people should have in your opinion, have an isolationist view of, or is it something we should have an eye towards to say what's going on?
Well, I think history has proven isolationism never worked. History has also proven that sanctions on Russia never work because the next president in is just going to lift them, right? I mean, look what Obama, and again, we can point to when all this happened. All this started with the Great Reset, right, with Obama and Hillary Clinton as the Secretary of State.
2013 when they let him take Crimea and said, okay.
Yeah, that's and again, what did we do about that?
Nothing.
Nothing. What did we ever check them in Syria?
No.
But all this time, Russia's just been developing their army, getting bigger. They have hypersonic weapons, right? They're stronger, and they've been tightening their bond with China. All this is doing, and we can argue whether or not we should be involved in the Ukraine, whether we should sacrifice American blood for Ukraine. We're going to have that argument, but there is no doubt that what's going on right now is Russia and China bond is tightening and getting stronger every single day.
And that's a problem.
You know what China said? You could send all that oil over here, and we will send all the goods back to you. exactly. There is, and by the way, they're connected, right? I mean, they share.
They
a
touch.
border.
Yeah, they share a border.
People are like, oh, I'm like, yeah, no, they touch, and they're the two largest continents, or I'm sorry, countries on the planet. Yeah, this could be a real problem. I'm not going to
technically China is the fourth largest country on the planet. So technically Canada and the United States are bigger, but not by much.
You can't live in half of Canada.
Well, no, you can't live in three-quarters of Canada. Believe me, true story, 90% of the population of Canada lives within 100 miles of the U.S. border.
True. Again, I mean, it's a real problem. So I don't know what the right answer is. I kind of said that earlier this week. I think I'd rather have, bring me back some. Where are all our great foreign affairs people? Where did all the talent go? Because every cabinet's become so political, right, that you have to have your guy. You no longer really care about having the right person for the job, right? Where's your Henry Kissinger?
Henry Kissinger, where's Henry Kissinger?
Henry. I mean, where are these great diplomats who you feel confident that can go in there and get something done? Instead, we got Kamala Harris. I read what she said. I'm like, there's no way that's what, it was in quotes.
No, that's what she said.
And then I went and I heard it, and I'm like, that's got to be clipped. So I watched the whole comment. I'm like, my gosh, what in the world did she just say? And in those situations, every word matters. Every single, comma matters. And we just don't have anybody that's capable of that level that I have confidence in. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe Kamala behind the scenes is just a great orator that just impresses everybody and they want them to follow. And by the way, I think what Trump did is treasonous. I think what Trump said this morning about how you can't call Putin a genius, right, while he's invading another country. You can't. You can't. Trump has said some really dumb things. That may be the dumbest thing ever, and I hope that's the thing that prevents him from being president again. I think that you cannot be childish and take a shot in a moment like this. Right? That is giving aid to our enemy. Right? That's all he did right there. Is everybody's like, they're going to look at Trump comments, and all over the world they're going to post that, and Putin's going to be empowered by it. And what he did is treasonous. I'm sorry, he did. And he should, and again, the GOP should come out and say something.
They're not going to. They're not going to.
I'm hopeful the voters and the Trump faithful, who are strong, they've come at me before, I hope that they realize this guy cannot be president again.
Galen, from Life South. Galen, tell us, we got about 10 seconds. Where's the Bloodmobile today?
Hey, today we're actually at the Publix right there on 40 Shopping Center. And first Publix to ever come to Marion County, so check it out there. And as always, get out there, give the gift of life, and donate blood. We're right on the boulevard as well, 1607 East Silver Springs Boulevard, lifesouth.org.
Galen, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
Invades the sovereignty of Ukraine with troops and military hardware, President Biden has put a sanction on Russia.
Far beyond the steps we and our allies and partners implemented in 2014. And if Russia goes further with this invasion, we stand prepared to go further as with sanctions.
The sanction imposed by the White House against Russia cannot solve a thing. Anatoly Antonov, the Russian ambassador to the United States, said on social media, "I don't remember a single day when our country lived without any restrictions from the Western world. We have learned to work in such conditions and not only have survived, but also to develop our state." End quote. A jury on Tuesday found father and son Gregory and Travis McMichael and their former neighbor William Bryan guilty of hate crimes when they murdered Ahmaud Arbery nearly 2 years ago in a Brunswick, Georgia neighborhood. Thanks for listening. It's well appreciated. We are USA Radio News.
Fever is a potential sign of COVID or the flu, and the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer has been proven accurate with more than 100 clinical studies. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Be accurate with Exergen. Exergen temporal scanners, available at Walmart and other fine retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com. That's EXERGEN.com. Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
Got a party of 10 coming in. We need to flip those 2 tables.
Leah's restaurant is fully booked night after night.
Section 3 is still behind.
She no longer has reservations about finally finding a hostess.
Why doesn't 23 have menus? Oh, because they're in my hand.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
A father tells his 4-year-old son to fire his gun at police.
A 4-year-old child in Utah fired a weapon from the backseat of a car toward a police officer after being told to do so by his dad. Police were initially called to a McDonald's just outside of Salt Lake City after restaurant workers reported a man had pointed a gun toward employees after receiving the wrong order. Employees had the man pull in front of the restaurant and wait for the correct order and then called police. When the officers arrived, they asked the man to get out of the vehicle several times, but he refused to comply, so the officers pulled him out of the vehicle. While the man was being taken into custody, the 4-year-old was in the backseat of a car with a 3-year-old sibling, according to the Salt Lake City Police Department, when the father told him to fire. The officer swiped the gun to the side of the car and a round was fired, grazing the officer. There were no additional injuries, and the father is in custody facing charges of felony child abuse and threatening with the use of a dangerous weapon.
That's John Hunt reporting on USA Radio News.
Time for Farming Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The Peanut Vine Points Association has been meeting with their annual convention recently in South Carolina. Featured speaker was Mark Moore. Mark works with Manna Nutrition. He said Manna Nutrition is one of the world's leading suppliers of ready-to-use therapeutic food, RUTF, and the frontline defense against severe acute malnutrition. Mark and his team have raised over $20 million to build and expand Manna's 100,000 square foot production facility that's located in Fitzgerald, Georgia, and now employs over 60 people and supplies partners around the world, including UNICEF, the World